Good afternoon and welcome to the Ovation Technologies and St. Martin's collaboration for senior project Streamliner. I'm Benjamin Gress and I'm the project lead and one of the back-end developers.
My name is Aslan Barnica. I'm the UI UX design.
And I'm Wachidanko Samuel, and I'm a front-end developer.
I'm Jackson Philbrook, and I'm a full-stack developer. So the current problem that organizations are facing is that in the digital age, they rely more and more on text data and user feedback, but it's hard to parse through all of that, and it's hard to find the really good ideas inside of that text data. Also, traditional AI models, or current AI models, don't work at the stage in which they can be fully trusted to just analyze everything on their own. They have good parts to them, but they have their own issues that we have to work with. And the solution to that problem is the Streamliner application. Streamliner combines traditional data analysis and AI. We make it easier to collect user feedback all in one application. So form management all the way through analysis and visualizations. We take the traditional data analysis tools and we combine them with the AI processing to find both the big trends and the one in a million ideas that could have slipped through the cracks. All of the resources the AI resources that we use are the natural language processing, which analyzes the text data and then it prioritizes it based off of actionability and importance to generate actionable insights from the user text submissions. And then traditional data, we use traditional data analysis, and then we can create visualizations too. So it's easy to interpret the data on the back.
And I'll be talking about the constraints. AWS can be very expensive. We only have a single semester remaining to implement a great deal of infrastructure. There's also a big time zone differences between our team and the Ovation team, which makes making appointments a little bit difficult. There may be possible issues with certain local laws regarding the processing of data and also like cloud storage. And right here is our budget for this project. We only have $100, so half of it will be going to Amazon Web Services and ChatGPT's API usage. My bad. So these are also like the use cases. So the issue is that companies have a lot of data, but they cannot easily prioritize actionable items. Our system analyzes lots of feedback and find key things and rank them by the order of importance. Businesses addresses top issues and boost customer satisfaction. There's also employee feedback analysis. Most organizations have a hard time. Most organizations have a difficult time to act on employee feedback. Our project highlight key things like the culture or efficiency issues. The outcome is improved. It's improved employee satisfaction and retention by tackling critical concerns.
As you can see here, these are our block diagrams. So each of these is kind of a simple way to represent and display the structure of our kind of overall system architecture. So on the left, you can see our network and application structure, which you can see the users go into the front end website, and then the user feedback is recorded. So that's as like a single entry that's sent to our API backend entry point. which is going to take that as kind of like a JSON post sort of message sort of thing. And that will be recorded in the SQL server after being processed by our code, which allows it to be converted into a format that can be added as like a SQL query. Then you go into your exit point API backend, the other half of the API, which is where data for the feedback portal will be pulled from, which is pulled from the SQL server, which has already recorded it. And then that will be able to be like manipulated, malleable by the whatever client is requesting feedback and what they want to do with it. They will then be able to upload that to the AI, discuss with the AI on how they will work on those like action items the AI recommends, work on get those visualizations that they want for the overall data, kind of like structure to see like the topology of how everything works. For application functionality, we'll start at the developer portal where they can view responsive analytics and create and manage forms. That way we can just kind of access the backend, make sure everything's working fine and there's no corrupt or anything wrong with the SQL Server sorts of issues. Then you have the Streamliner backend where end users will provide the feedback. So the people the client wants to survey, they want the information from, that's where that will come from. Then you have the Streamliner backend itself, which is where the client will kind of work with the AI and do the same thing as the feedback portal previously. This is just more of a what the backend actually looks like sort of view, and of course the communication to OpenAI API for the discussion to occur. For challenges, one challenge we faced was the decision on whether we should be using like a pre-existing AI model like ChatGPT, Bing Copilot, all those ones, and get some like AI credits, whatnot, or sorry, not AI credits, API credits, or to train our own. And we evaluated factors like cost, time, complexity, and based on this, we chose a pre-existing model to save resources and leverage proven capabilities, so we don't have to worry about getting so much feedback that we train our own model. We can focus on a model that has already acquired a lot more knowledge. We were trying to figure out what tools to use, so like Monkey-Learn, Google Cloud NLP, or AWS Comprehend. We researched and tested as many tools as we could, but we ultimately selected the one that met our project's best needs. Collaborating and sharing insights helped us make informed decisions. We also faced challenges like using new tools such as Figma, Postman, RESTful APIs, and Spring Boot, and we haven't had time to fully explore everything. However, we have definitely gained a lot of knowledge in those areas, especially Spring Boot, which requires Java, and that's a whole other thing. We divided tasks among team members, the shared learning load, utilized tutorials and documentation, and focused on gaining functional knowledge and without being overwhelmed. So just the idea of we wanted this information, and that's how we got it. Another challenge was figuring out how to integrate everything, make sure it runs seamlessly. And we've already mapped out the system architecture, identified dependencies, and we will be continuing regular testing to troubleshoot and refine the connections between components. And once we can finally make sure everything's well integrated. Our risk section, so the main risk is the risk of a data breach where hackers will somehow get into our systems on AWS and download a bunch of stuff from our MySQL server. It's not the most likely risk because as long as AWS is properly managed and configured, it shouldn't be too heavily worried about, but it's still something we should be compensating for and looking out for. A similar risk is the risk of website hack, where hackers get into our forms backend and front end and start monkeying with things and making everything look all terrible and like adding vandalism and stuff like that. We want to make sure that we compensate for those risks and ensure that there are not any holes that people can get in and start messing with our stuff and causing chaos. There's the risk of project implosion, as I call it, which is just the many possible reasons that the project itself could implode. We don't know many of how that could happen, but like it's possible. You never know. If the AI API goes down, discussions with our from our clients to the AI, those just stop. So we could also, there's a potential of having a fallback API, so like Bing Chat or something, that could also discuss with clients in the case that happens, but we just want to be absolutely sure that nothing will happen in that regard and to ensure that there's a way to compensate for it. There's also the risk of the AI bubble itself popping, which is where if that big tech boom bust hype cycle really happens and the AI technology becomes more of like a pariah in the big tech space and we're not allowed to use it anymore, that could be a big issue with our project because it relies so heavily on AI in general. And if the buzzword dies, we die too.
I'm going to talk about the external interface requirements, user interface, feedback portal, dashboards, customization tools, API integration that connects with the server tools, SRMS and communication apps, data management, secure storage and export capabilities, notifications and reports, alerts and regular updates. Non-functional requirements, ease of use, so users from both the organization and public need to be able to easily interact with Streamliner. Security, ensure confidentiality, information integrity, and system accessibility. Speed, some user feedback may be time sensitive, so we will need to process data and have reports quickly. Maintainability, we need to be able to update and manage the program. Scalability, different organizations will need Streamliner to process more data and may have different processing power. The how, we follow an agile sprint structure. Large tasks are broken into 2 weeks of work called sprints. Internal bi-weekly stand-ups to discuss work led by Ben, our project manager. Weekly meetings with client. After sprints, we may adjust the schedule and modify the backlog.
So the next steps for this are prototype development, where we have a functional application working, and to do that we will further the UI UX design that we've been working on, and then potentially modify our timeline based on how that goes, and the implementation of that product, so scaling it largely and then distributing it to organizations as well. And throughout all of this, we have ongoing conversations with the Ovation Technology organization, because they have a lot of say in how we do things and the time we allocate to them, and we work collaboratively with them as well. So to go further into that sprint structure, this is what we have set up. Our first sprint would be for implementing the AWS infrastructure. We'll do the basic backend implementation, and then we'll build everything else on top of this. We'll have all of our basic API features and network infrastructure in this step. And then for implementing the SQL Server, it'll be pretty quick, and then we'll just, that's how our data will communicate or be stored on the AWS server. For the front end sprint, we'll have our templates and then create everything so that the portal is able to work with all of the forms and the visualizations for that. And then finally, for implementing the user to the AI interface, we'll have to use the APIs and create the communication between both the clients for the feedback.
So this is just a general overview of our project management solution. In this case, we are using Trello to plan our way through implementation and ensuring that we do everything correctly and making sure that everything goes smoothly, and ensuring that everyone knows what they need to do and how they should do it. Trello is a wonderful tool for making sure that all of our deadlines are in one place and that Ovation can see that we are actively doing things and making sure that they happen and that sort of thing. So this is the conclusion of the presentation. Thank you so much for your time and hearing us out on our Ovation Technologies and St. Martin's collaboration project. Hope you have a wonderful day, and yeah.